What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And this is where we at now. So clearly you see the title of the broadcast, and we're going to talk about this up and coming situation. Now, of course, I don't know whether you guys heard about the people that have been, living in cars and stuff like that recently. That recently popped up, I think, this past year and stuff like that. So we're coming into this situation here now to where people are actually living in hotels. Now, I'm not saying this is something super new, but in today's economy, it's kind of looking a little wild out here. Now, we also heard about the term that, you will own nothing and be happy. If you haven't heard that term, it's a situation that's kind of going down here to where, we have a lot of these major corporations that's been buying up homes and stuff like that, renting things out to where people can't actually buy the homes from the corporation. They just forever rent. So, but this is where we get here. So we're going to dive off into this and we're going to see what's going on here. Quarters, nickels, and dimes. Oh, my bad. Hold on.
This is the hotel I live in for $314 a week. This is the area around the hotel. You do have to have a key to get into the exterior doors, which is one of my favorite parts about it. I love the fact that I only have to pay one bill a week, and that covers the power, the water, also the trash, which we have to carry out here to a dumpster, but still trash is included. It also covers the cable, which we brought in a Roku also so we could still have all the other channels. This is my little hotel window. Y'all see my little black cat in the window for Halloween. So basically what I've been saying is it's just really what you make it. No, it's not like having my own place, which I'm hoping that will be happening soon, but it's definitely better than being on the street or living with someone like family or people that just really don't want you in their house. It's hard living with other people. So this is always an option, and I'm always here to help anyone that I can possibly help. So with that being said, y'all have a great weekend. I'll be back with more. Like, share, and follow.
So, I mean, to kind of break this thing down here a little bit with her particular situation, she did mention, living with family, all the type of stuff. If you are in a situation like that, where it's push come to shove and things, I can understand it to a degree, but at the same time though, too, it's nothing like owning your own stuff. And the way things are going over here in America, it's like almost that they're pushing people away from trying to own anything. A lot of people are using, a lot of people lease cars now, stuff like that, rent, trying to escape the also the duties of what, home ownership comes with, the maintenance, the yard, all types of stuff. I get it for some people. At the same time though, too, I understand it, but at the same time though, too, just on a basic human level, you really need to own your own property. You need to own your own land and things like that, or at least own it as much as you possibly can. I get it that we pay property tax pretty much forever, but at the same time though, too, if you keep up your property tax and don't have any other, crazy bills and stuff like that, other than, lights and stuff, which is going to be forever unless you figure out another way. It just is what it is though. But to not own anything or have some type of, documentation that you have the legal right to, to this domain and stuff like that, that's a whole nother situation. You can be, you know, um, technically, put out of a situation like this if push come to shove. So, let's go here now. Let's keep going because it's always more on the bottom line.
Look at these walls. Look, you see this? This is a hotel. It's not even that big. We live in a hotel. We just got fresh linen. Do you get that in an apartment? No, you don't. We save
Of
money too
course you
by
don't.
living here longer. Okay? And we can leave whenever we want. This is a
Feel me?
hotel. Look at this. This is not an apartment. We live in a hotel. That's crazy. That's crazy. I like it. I never thought that I would want to live in a hotel, but I do, and I like it. Look at these walls. You see these walls? Hotel. You see this? Would you live in a hotel? I'm living in a hotel or an apartment because I don't have to pay nothing. I don't have to pay utilities. They give me fresh linen. God damn it. I don't get that. I don't have to worry about nothing. Apartments, you got to worry about all this stuff.
Sounds like you don't want that much responsibility in life. And I think this is where we're going here with a lot of people. They don't want the responsibilities, but at the same time, though, too, the lack of being responsible as human beings is going to drive somebody else to be responsible for you. Now, that's an overseer situation. We got to be honest with this. That's an overseer situation. Now, so if you really want somebody, you know, to oversee your life and stuff like that, if you really want somebody to, you know, your linens and stuff like that, I get it. You know, you at a hotel, you paying maybe weekly fee or monthly, however it goes, and your fresh towels, all this type of stuff. You don't have to worry about washing too much, you know. Well, at least, you know, fresh towel. I mean, shit, man. I just can't see that level of control, you know, for my life personally. And, you know, I get it. Some people nowadays, you know, society's kind of crazy. You know, a lot of things have been watered down in society. Definitely manhood and womanhood. This is ridiculous right here. You know, I don't have to worry about this and that. I won't have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Hold on here. I see something.
I never thought.
Hold on.
I never thought that I would want to live in a hotel, but I do, and I like it.
Hold on.
No, that's crazy.
Oh my goodness. Hold on. Did I see what I thought I saw?
I like it.
Hold on.
I never thought that. I like it.
They got a whole YouTube plaque in there. I thought I saw a YouTube plaque. So they on YouTube making money. They probably got a little change. I'm not saying they multi-millionaires, but they got a whole YouTube plaque in there. I know y'all see this shit. Hold on. Maybe I need the big screen so y'all can see this shit. I know y'all see this shit. They got a whole YouTube plaque. So obviously they done made over a certain amount of followers on YouTube. So they getting a little money. They getting a little money out there. I thought I saw a YouTube plaque in the joint. This is wild out here, man. This is wild. But it is what it is at this point. Like I said, though, you know, I think that's going to be a little bit too much control definitely for my mindset, how I was raised and stuff like that. You know, I have land that's also been passed down to me from elders and stuff like that we've had in the family for generations. Like I just can't see me, you know, giving all that up like that. And you know what I'm saying, I'd rather work hard to maintain it and keep what my ancestors provided for me and stuff like that, and definitely try to until the death of me. You know, I'd rather die trying than, you know, just to give up and go live in some fucking hotel and let somebody stipulate, you know, when my towels get clean and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. You know, to me it is. So we're going to keep going here because it's wild out here in the field. Welcome to the new America. Hotels is the new homes. You will own nothing and you will like it.
This message is specifically for my people that are living in a hotel, a motel, Holiday Inn. If you have been going through your journey and living in that hotel for over 30 days, you need to take your ass up to that front desk. You need to ask them rather, to take the taxes off your room. After 30 days, you become exempt technically, but they are not going to take those taxes off unless you ask, because technically you live at the property now. You don't need to be, that's a different story. You didn't hear that from me though. You know what I'm saying? If it has been well over 30 days, 9 times out of 10, you have a credit on your reservation. But it's going to take somebody with common sense to sit down any day after the 30 days that they've taken your taxes off And the credit literally should pop up by itself. So you might got some free days, might be a threefold, might be a week, depending on how long you've been there. But I know I just helped somebody you up.
So it's getting the credit right. Hold on. Let's go back here.
This message is specifically for my people that are living in a hotel, a motel, Holiday Inn. If you have been going through your journey and living in that hotel for over 30 days, you need to take your ass up to that front desk. You need to tell them, ask them rather, to take the taxes off your room. After 30 days, you become exempt technically, but they are not going to take those taxes off unless you ask, because technically you live at the property now. You don't need to be, that's a different story.
Yeah, basically that's some squatter shit. Technically that's some squatter shit, but you're in a hotel, so technically you do have to, actually pay. It's a working entity. It's not like squatters in a home, ducked off somewhere where the homeowner comes to visit every now and then, or the homeowner's not technically, residing in the residence. They had these, if y'all remember, these issues were going down last year, in Chicago, a lot of other places where we had this huge issue with squatters, down in Florida, all types of stuff. If y'all have, y'all got to have long memories out here. We have these huge issues with squatters last year. And yeah, they were, squatting and perfectly working homes and stuff like that. These people were, they didn't want to leave. They had to be kicked out, stuff like that. This is crazy right here. So let's go here now. Let's keep checking some stuff out here.
In case you missed it, we live in a hotel full time and we just experienced something we've never experienced before. I don't know if this is a Tennessee thing or if it happens everywhere, but they wouldn't allow us to stay more than 28 days in the same room. Apparently over 28 days, you can claim residency. And we've definitely stayed in a couple of hotels for more than 28 days. So does that make us a Tennessee resident? If so, we're keeping our state income tax this year. Adam has had a hotel room in his name in Georgia since October of last year. So I'm not sure. Maybe we're a resident of Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi. I'm not really sure at this point. But since he moved all of our stuff while we were in Mississippi last week, we had a lot of shopping to get done today. We ended up throwing away almost all of our groceries, so we had no food when we woke up this morning. We're starting with a clean slate, but I do have a full kitchen still, so that means I've got to restock on all of the essentials. But y'all already know if I go into Target, I have to do a little browsing, and they have Circle Week this week, and there were some really good deals that I just could not pass up. Aldi's was pretty busy today, so I quickly tried to grab everything that we needed and made our way through the super long checkout line. And the sweetest people were in line and let us cut because they felt so sorry for our chaos. And I'm telling you, I just can't make this stuff up. As soon as we were loading the groceries onto the conveyor belt, Riley threw a jar of pickles and it shattered everywhere. So we held all of them up, waiting for it to be clean. I know they regretted being nice to me. And if you've made it this far in the video, leave me a pink heart.
So, this is wild right here. I'm, from what I'm gathering here, I'm assuming that maybe her husband was doing something else, selling homes or whatever, they in between homes. Jesus Christ. But, to have these babies in a hotel and stuff like that, let's just go. If they are in between homes, it probably would have been safer for them to go live with family for a hot second and stuff like that. Maybe like what was said in the previous video, that I first showed you guys, maybe maybe you just don't get along with your family. And it's like, screw these people. I can't stand living with these people and they can't stand living with me. I mean, it's crazy out here. It's crazy out here. But to have those children at that age hemmed up like that, that's pretty wild to me. That is pretty wild to me. So, yeah, we're going to go here and we're going to keep going because it's all over the place here. And let's see, where am I at next? I'm right here. So we're going to go here now and we're going to check this out and see what's going on here. We got a lady here that's going to confess that she's in a serious situation, living in a hotel. It's wild out here, people.
I'm currently living in hotels. I can't seem to find an apartment. What should I do?
You can't seem to find an apartment. Why?
My credit score is abysmal.
Are you working?
Yes.
What do you make?
Time.
What do you make?
$87,000 a year.
$87,000 a year.
Yes.
Good for you. What do you do?
I'm an occupational therapist.
How'd you end up homeless?
Well, I moved from state to state for love and a relationship, and that did not work out. My only real option at the time was to find a hotel for temporary housing.
Do you have any money now?
No, because I'm basically spending $2,200 a month just to keep a roof over my head.
Yeah, but you make 80.
Hold on. So she's spending $2,200. What type of hotel she living in? She said she living in a hotel, right? Like, okay, I'm trying to understand this. You spending $2,200 a month to live in a hotel, bitch. That's you could find a mortgage for that. You know, I mean, Jesus Christ. If her credit is shot and she could prove that she could pay $22,000 and something a month, I don't know. This sounds crazy to me. You paying $2,000 something a month to live in a hotel. That makes no sense. Hold on, let's keep going. Let's check this out.
7,000.
So I have a car lease about $340 a month, and I have my student loan debt. It's about $1,000 a month.
Have you been paying it?
No.
Marie, I'm struggling. Okay. You've not paid that. You paid a $300 payment. You make 87,000 and you paid a hotel bill. That's all you've done. Where is all your money going, kiddo?
Eating out. I only have a microwave here, so I can't really cook.
I can't tell what's going on in the numbers, but numbers generally talk to me because I've done this a long time. So I think what I'm hearing is a highly educated, very intelligent lady whose heart got broken. Oh, let me take that further. Got crushed, and you've been in a spiral emotionally since, and everything's out of control.
Now, you know, everything's out of control. Yeah, of course, he trying to, you know what I'm saying, give her the little, you know, he tried to give her a little sip talk. But you know what I'm saying, this chick is making like, you know what I'm saying, $7,000 a month almost, pretty much. You know what I'm saying, with 87,000 a year. Jesus Christ, what are you talking about? Like, I'm confused like him. If you're making close to that amount every month, you know, even with $2,700, even with 25 or whatever, 100, you know, coming out of your check or whatever to pay for a hotel. Let's just keep that real, which that's a amazing amount of money to pay for a fucking hotel. Woo, Jesus. But even with that, and then you got the 300 coming out for the car that she's leasing on top of that, when she got enough money coming in every month to where she could buy a car outright from somebody. Like she could really buy a car, like straight cash. Jesus, man. What is she doing?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Because the numbers aren't telling me anything else. Because you're too smart to be in this situation if you were functioning at a normal level. And right now you're functioning with a broken heart. So you're not a bad person. You're not a weak person. You're just been stomped on and you're hurting. And it causes your math to get screwed up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Because here's what I hear. You've got plenty of money to go rent an apartment. Lots of places will rent somebody with bad credit an apartment. You just put up a good deposit. Here's what I want you to do.
Right.
We've got Ramsey preferred coaches that we have trained to coach people on finances.
Okay, so he's going off and all that, but you know what I'm saying? Listen, look, man, this is just the truth out here. You know what I'm saying? If she had if she show her statements of what she makes per month, you know, I mean, per year and then per month and stuff like that to any apartment complex, even with bad credit, Jesus Christ, if she make it close to $7,000 a month, ain't no apartment gonna turn that down, bad credit or not. Come on now. That's She make well over probably what the apartments would probably charge her with whatever city she live in. I guarantee she probably live in one of them, you know, super liberal ass cities, Democrat shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, the taxes is fucked up, the city fucked up, all types of shit. Rent is high. You know, look at Chicago, look at New York. It's crazy out there. You know what I'm saying? And you know, California too. It's trash. But see, this is the thing here. This is wild right here. Now, she make too much money to be living in a fucking hotel like that. She could take that and be paying that every month to an actual apartment, or even a home, depending on, like I say, depending on where she live at. You know, it just is what it is, man. This is wild out here, man. This is wild. You know, people are giving up owning things in today's society, and it's going to come back to hunt society as a whole. You will own nothing and you will be happy. And that's the worst thing that you can do. That's a human right that we're supposed to have on this planet, to own our own homes, to actually, you know, be viable citizens, to protect and have the things that we need and want to have for us. It's always been our life living situation to, you know, own our own properties and stuff like that. You know, taxes or not, I get it, you know, paying taxes every year. It is what it is. But, you know, at least can't nobody tell you what to do. Can't nobody kick you out that shit once you actually, you know, buy from whatever entity you buying it from, bank, credit union, whatever. You know, it just is what it is, man. The being able to have the space to where can't nobody tell you how to move. You know, apartments, hotels, all that. Eventually, people gonna be able to tell you how to move in their shit because you don't own nothing up in that motherfucker. You just paying to be there. Let's go here now.
Hi, I have lived in a hotel for the past 2 years, and I am working on moving out. So before I do, I wanted to share my experience of what it's like to live in a hotel. I'm going to be talking about different things like cooking, doing laundry, working, things I do for fun, stuff like that, that you might encounter if you are living in a hotel. For this first video, I want to give kind of a basic outline of what my situation looks like. I'm in a hotel that has outdoor access to all the rooms, so you don't have to go inside the building to access your room. I live on the second floor of a 2-story building, which is really nice because the first floor is always going to be the busiest with people usually on both sides of you. So if you do find yourself living in a hotel at all, I would definitely recommend the second floor if you can get there easily. This hotel doesn't have a elevator, so I do have to walk up and down the stairs. So if that's not something you can feasibly do, then downstairs would have to be your other option. I also work for the hotel. I started doing that 5 months into my stay here. So I started off as a housekeeper, and now I work at the front desk, and that gives me a lower rate than anybody else staying here. It also allows me to use the on-site laundry facilities that are usually just for the housekeeping stuff, like the bedding and the towels and all that. But because I work here, I can also use the laundry facilities. I also do not have a kitchen or kitchenette in my room. All I have is a small fridge and a microwave, and I will show kind of like the layout of the room on another video. So yeah, that is kind of the basic outline. If I think of anything else, I'll add it to other videos I make. So if you find yourself in this situation, or you're just kind of interested in what it's like to live in a hotel, please feel free to follow along and at least learn one.
So this is where we at here, people. You know, this living in a hotel, you know, just last year it was living in the car, stuff like that. And now is, you know, living in hotels, which people probably are still living in cars and stuff like that. And also, you know, the hotel living. Like I said, man, you know, definitely, you know, it's also due to a little bit of the economy, the way it's going, and as well as a lot of these people are not living below means. And it's sad to say, but you know, we do live in a society where we have the internet now. Everybody's seeing what everybody else doing, everybody trying to, you know, live good or think that they're bettering themselves, but they're not taking the time to, you know, grow properly. You know, what I mean by that is, you know what I'm saying, everybody's not going to grow at the same pace. Sometimes you have to live below your means until you able to, you know what I'm saying, get to a different level in life. You can't just, you know what I'm saying, you know, like the previous lady in the previous video I showed you guys on the broadcast, she making $87,000 a year. Jesus Christ. Like this lady could, you know what I'm saying, she could be living pretty decent, you know, but she's, you know, she screwed up. Dude tried to give her excuses. Oh, well, you're heartbroken and all this other type of crap and stuff like that. I mean, Jesus Christ, you know, to burn through $87,000 You know, that's a lot of money. You know, and some people may think that's not a lot of money. Some people look at that shit like, yeah, that's a lot of money to be making a year. And at the same time, though, too, you know, what she making every month. That's ridiculous, bro. You know what I'm saying? You could live pretty decent. All you have to do is discipline yourself and make sure you know what I'm saying, don't be, you know, just burning through shit like that. But this is where we at right here, man. They already telling y'all people out there that you will, you know, own nothing and you will be happy. And they're strategically putting things in place to where if you're not strong in the mind, you will be a part of that situation to where you will own nothing and be happy. And I'm sorry to tell you guys this, whatever daydream you got going on out there and stuff like that, the real American dream was always to own your property, own your cars, own everything around you. That was the real American dream. But nowadays the dream has fallen and everybody's falling for the bullshit. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Man, love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.